you know when you start talking.
Indeed. In the last 6 months, 19 unhoused members of our community have died needlessly because of this council's policies towards unhoused citizens. I'm coming today, I'm angry, I am frustrated. Frankly, I am baffled by the repeated failure of city councillors and the mayor to hear the voices of their unhoused constituents and those who stand in solidarity with them. Poverty in this city, across this country, is not a law of nature. It is the outcome of the policies and the logics of our most powerful citizens. That's all of you. In simple terms, this council, the laws that empower it, and the police that enforce those laws manufacture poverty every day. City Council is not ignorant to this fact. By the mayor's own account on December 8th, we've had homelessness in Hamilton for years. That's a quote. Where a leader would take this as evidence that the policies of the last few years have failed, the mayor, apparently unburdened by self-awareness, takes it as an invitation to continue the city's violent attacks on our unhoused neighbors. Councillors are well aware that the so-called options presented to most people living unhoused are actually worse than their current circumstances. That's according to them. That's according to the people with whom these options are being presented. Councillor Farr's response to this is to say that people have to start taking the options we give them. Perhaps it does not occur to the councillor that an option you have to take is not an option at all. The city's cruelty was most recently on display when, upon discovering that citizens were huddling for warmth beneath an air exhaust at City Hall, the city responded by boarding up the exhaust. In a CBC piece, the city assured us that city staff had been in contact with those taking shelter twice daily for weeks. And I wonder, in all that time, did it ever occur to the city to ask those citizens what they wanted? What options would make them feel safe? Apparently not. We hear councillors who defend the city's cruelty lamenting a lack of funding. But apparently the city has no problem finding hundreds of thousands of dollars for the Grey Cup, tens of thousands of dollars for hoarding at City Hall, millions more dollars for policing, hundreds of thousands of dollars to evict encampment residents. How can it possibly be the case that the city has more money every single year to hire more armed, racist thugs to patrol our streets, murder our disabled and poor neighbors, beat up community members who raise their voices in defiance of that violence? No money for basic needs, no money for the basic needs of citizens. How could that possibly be? We don't come here because we assume that this problem is easy. We come here because, as far as we can tell, most of the members of this council aren't even interested in understanding what the problem is. Here today, we've had multiple delegations. And what are the questions that they've received? We've had the most response to any delegation was for the members of the council to declare conflicts of interest. Many of them are landlords. You are profiting off of the very crisis that you claim to care about solving. Until the city understands that this is the case, until the city understands that the real problem is the failure to listen to unhoused members of the community, the failure to listen to people in precarious housing, until the city understands that, we will continue to feel like this city hates homeless people. Based on your actions, one can only infer that you are either completely incompetent or disgustingly immoral. And if you fail to act now, you're
out of order, Madam Chair. Delegate is out of order.
Yeah, completely out of order. I'm sorry. Calling police thugs and now to say that we're immoral, you know, please, let's be respectful. We're respectfully listening to you. Madam Chair, if you would please take over the meeting.
I'll do that. James, if you wish to continue speaking here, we want to hear your message, but we do not want name calling and we do not want disrespect.
Madam Chair, with the point of order also, just because it was brought up, there's actual facts that during this pandemic, we've housed over 1,000 individuals that were homeless. So it should probably be noted as well. We're not ignoring the issue.
Thank you, Councillor Farr. James, if you want to continue, you're muted at the moment, James. So we're not hearing you. If you would, I would like to hear your suggestions for what you would like us to look at during the budget deliberations. I would like to let you finish. I'm going to restart your time and give you, you're at 20 seconds now, but I'm going to assume that you have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to give us the suggestions you have without accusing anyone of anything and without calling anyone a name. I want to get your message, but you need to do that respectfully. So I'm going to ask the clerk to turn your sound back on. I don't know if she can. You try and turn your sound back on, and I'll ask her not to turn it off unless,
Back on.
yes, you have 2 minutes.
I won't need them. In case it was unclear, I have absolutely zero respect for anyone on this council who continues to insist that their response is adequate. That's the only thing I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, James.